RWBY Volume 2, Episode 8, Field Trip. This is definitely a good episode. It has some really interesting moments in it. One part really early on in the beginning was almost hearing Glenda Goodwitch say dick, which I thought was really funny. That was much funnier than the time we almost heard Roman drop an F bomb. But we also had some really big moments. I don't know, the introduction of a dog character might be really huge for people who love dogs. I do too, but all I know, in the next two episodes, that dog is gonna cause some real big issues, and I can't wait to see how that plays out. But I love the introduction of the dog. I can't remember the actual name of the dog, but something I did notice was that when Yang was reading the letter, they actually put in their father's real name, and his last name is Yang, so I think that's how Yang got her first name. So I thought that was pretty cool. We actually got to hear his first name, and he's leaving out of off the island. So I'm curious if we will possibly get any information on that. I highly doubt it, but we got that little bit of information. He's leaving the island for whatever reason. I would have to assume it's important. But we got a lot of cool moments in this episode. We got to see all the four schools standing together, so that was pretty cool. When we got to see the school or the place where Sun comes from, and I believe it's Bakua where he comes from, they're just like in like t-shirts and jeans and shorts and stuff. And he was not joking. He was like, it's not a suit and tie type of place. He was not kidding at all. Everyone's in like the nice suits and stuff and the school uniforms that look all fancy. And then it's just like, yeah, t-shirts. We do what we want. So I thought that was kind of interesting to actually see them. But it was cool. I loved that little moment. We got to hear Ozpin give a really great speech, and even in the beginning when we got to see Ozpin, Goodwitch, and Ironside actually talk, I thought that was really nice, especially getting to see Ironside talk when he was talking to RWBY. Like, we got to see more of his personality. We already knew he was sort of the gung-ho military type, because as soon as he was introduced, it was like Ozpin was asking, why are you bringing your entire army here? So we already kind of knew that, but it was cool to see him say like, hey, what you did, I think, is exactly what hunters and huntresses are being trained to do. Is the perfect thing to do. Is you see an enemy, you go full force and attack. So it was cool to get more detail out of that. Other than that, it was really like just little bits and pieces here and there that were cool. I'm really excited for what this episode is leading up to, because it's the girls leaving out of the city, so they're going to be outside of the kingdom, and that's going to be really good, especially when they just drop like a billion hints in this episode, like, hey, it's very high Grim concentration. Team Coffee comes back, who in this episode it was cool to finally get to see them. I had no idea Velvet and her team were second year students until she actually said that, because she was getting picked on by Cardin in season 1, and I just had no idea, because everyone kind of looks the same, admittedly, as far as age goes, unless they're actually an adult. You look like a kid, really. So that kind of caught me off guard. I didn't expect them to actually be second year students, but when they came back, everyone was like gathered around, and I know it's partly because of their mission having gone over by an entire week. That's a really big deal. But when they came back, they're just walking, and it's like they seemed like the cool kids in that little scene that we got to see. But it was nice. We got to actually see them. Admittedly, it was almost exactly like watching the opening. It was just lasting longer. We got to see them. And the girl with like the bandolier purse type thing, she like turns a little. You can see her glasses, and I thought that was pretty cool. But we got to hear Velvet speak. Didn't even realize she was British in the first season, so that caught my attention. But it was nice to see them. Unfortunately, with Team RWBY leaving, it's like their introduction officially, at least as a team, and then they aren't really going to be in it because it'll be RWBY off outside of the kingdom next week, and then of course the ending with the girls leaving to go on this nice little field trip adventure for who knows how many episodes. We get to see the hunter that they end up going with, and of course it's the craziest teacher they could have had. Like, you got 4 real options out of the school that we know of, 2 of which are really cool. The other 2, one tells really silly stories because he's an old guy, and the other guy moves so fast you don't really know what's happening with him. But I can't wait to see what this guy can do. I don't know if his semblance or anything like that really is him moving as fast as he does, but with this show being how it is, him moving at super speed probably is his semblance, because they do silly stuff and it's like that doesn't have an explanation, and then when they explain it, it's like, well, that's his semblance, or they can do this type of thing, and it's like, oh, you watch an old episode and it's like, oh, that makes perfect sense now, because we didn't have that information when we initially watched it. So it's almost like foreshadowing when they do that type of stuff. So I can't wait to see him fight. And I didn't see him with any weapons. He had like a real explorer type look to him. He reminded me of some character. I just can't think of who it is with the hat and the jacket like that. But it was really cool to see that. I did enjoy the episode. Like I said, it had its funny moments, especially with the dog. But it has some really nice dramatic moments. The beginning, the speech that Ozpan gave, it was definitely really cool. Something else that was really nice is when they were talking in the beginning, they do basically give us like a factoid that what Cinder did in last week's episode wasn't her semblance. It really was just dust within her clothing. So I don't, one question that came out of that is, can anyone put dust into their clothing, or do you have to be a mage to do that? And that was something that, we got an answer to a certain question from last week, and then it created a new question for me this week. Like, well, if she can do that and it's an age-old thing, why doesn't everybody just do it? Because you would think that would be a million times easier than like making a giant scythe that turns into a giant gun. So, stuff like that question was answered, and then it made another one. But I definitely loved the episode. Of course, comment below, let me know what you guys thought about it, your favorite parts, your least favorite parts. And I just uploaded a video earlier today. It's like a week late because I filmed it last week, but it took forever. And it's the top 10 things that I want to see in RWBY again. So I'm going to put the link to that down in the description below. So please check that out. I'm uploading two versions. One is just with straight pictures, and the other is like I'm in the video like this, and I have like a little box next to me. And that's just, if you want kind of a more engaging video with me moving my hands like this, because I do that a lot. I'm gonna be uploading that hopefully by tonight if it finishes converting and it's actually done right. Both of those versions will be up, but the video or picture only version is up right now, so please check that out. And of course, when you're on that video, put your top 10 list, top 10 things you guys want to see. And like I said, favorite things you guys thought about this episode, your least favorite things. And of course, what do you guys think is going to happen when they go on this field trip? They're going to a place with a bunch of grim creatures. They're going with possibly the craziest teacher they could. So, what do you guys think is going to happen? There's also a dog involved, so that's just, craziness abound guaranteed. But what do you guys want to see, and what do you guys really think is going to happen? Comment below, let me know, and thanks for watching.